Hi, my beautiful friends. So excited to join you in another The Angels Connect podcast episode. I love getting on and having a chat with you guys. I love sharing what's coming up for me, what's coming up for the collective, what I'm finding with people in the studio, and the pains, the frustrations, the real life stuff that we all go through, girls. Like, we all go through these periods. No one is perfect all the time, happy all the time, got all their shit together all the time, me included. And I was sitting in a little bit of a funk the other day. I was not 100%, which is not like me. I really like my affirmations. I am healthy, I am well, like I rarely get sick. And it hit me the other day, and it was like a bit of a flu, but my ear was blocked, which I shared with you in in my last episode. And I was just kind of feeling really, not sorry for myself, that's not the right word, but I was just feeling frustrated. I was sitting in this frustration of, why aren't I there yet? There's things I want to do. There's, goals I want to achieve, visions that I have got in my mind's eye that I want to see come to fruition, all the things that we all do. And then sometimes you can kind of just go through these waves of energy where you feel great, everything's flowing, like you're kicking goals, you're feeling really good. And then all of a sudden you just end up feeling flat. Sometimes it's for no explained reason. And that's where I like to kind of check in with my community, check in with the collective energy. I notice when people are a few people are feeling like that, I go, hang on, there's something going on that is bigger than us. And there was at that time, I kind of looked into what was going on. There's a big shift of energy as we were kind of coming to the end of August, coming out of a full moon, going into a new season, a new cycle as we enter July, a new month, I should say, not really a new season. We're still in winter, but going into this kind of new, what did I say? I said August. Oh my goodness, I'm way ahead. June, we're coming to the end of financial year, wrapping up a June end of financial year cycle, and going into kind of this new season. And I was thinking about a few business goals, money goals, all those kind of things that we think about. And I felt like, oh my God, I'm not where I want to be yet, or I haven't hit this goal yet. And I found myself kind of just spiraling with that self-talk, or with the doubts, or with just this overwhelming feeling of, why am I not there yet? This overwhelming feeling of frustration. So what do I do when I feel like that? I do all the things that I teach you guys. I move my body. I went to a couple of extra yoga, went to Katie's yoga class. So I was starting to feel a bit better in my body. Your movement shifts energy through you. I'd been grounding a lot more. I'd been hydrating a lot. I was going into some of my meditation, my mindfulness practices. And I decided to pull an oracle card. Now, this card that I pulled said celebration. And I thought to myself, for fuck's sake, I've pulled this card before. Like, many times throughout the last couple of months, I have pulled this card. I don't want this card. Like, what is it going to teach me? And then I had to get out of my ego and go, no, you pulled this card for a reason. There is something in it that you need to pay attention to, because I just wanted to throw it back and get another one. But I never do that, because I always believe, okay, maybe there's something I'm not getting. Maybe there's a deeper message in here for me. Maybe there's something that I need to reread that I'm just not getting yet. So I reread that card, and the card kind of spoke a lot about the inner harmony, being at home within yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I read it before. And then what it said, which I want to share with you because prompted this episode. It said, any self-doubt or inadequacies have been transformed into compassion and a feeling of being at home in yourself. Celebrate and enjoy the effort and dedication you've put in. Congratulate yourself for a goal attained. My first thought was, like, I haven't hit my goal yet, what I was kind of thinking about. But then I thought about it and I thought, okay, this has come up for a reason. I'm going to pull out my journal, and I am going to sit here and I'm going to pour my heart and soul into my journal. I'm going to celebrate this is just what come to me. I'm going to celebrate. What have I done in the last 5 years? I took myself back to when I opened Earthy Angels, which was 5 years ago. And I started thinking about the woman that I was back then. I was in my personal training business. It was perfect for me at the time. I was working around the kids because my primary goal, my primary driving purpose was being a mum to the kids. Yes, I love my business. I love what I was doing, but they're in school and I wanted to have a work-life balance where I didn't want to be tied down to a job. I could schedule my clients around my kids. I could go to their sporting events. I could go to the things at school. I could be there to take them to school, pick them up. And that was my primary goal. And I wanted to be at home when they got home. Even if I had clients with me, I was there when they got home. And I thought about the girl back then of 5 years ago, and I was loving my business. I was loving what I was doing. So I'd been doing it for a number of years, and I started to think about her insecurities. I started to think about the doubts that she had on herself. I started to think about how far I had come since I was running my personal training business, the growth that I've had. And I put myself back in her shoes. And I remember having conversations with my husband and telling him, like I would compare myself to other trainers on social media or other fitness influencers or other people that had these businesses. And I would say to Tom, like I'm not as good as that person. I don't look like that. And I was judging myself and comparing myself to other women, to other local trainers, to other business owners around me, not just on social media. And I was afraid to put myself out there in the community a lot more. I hated my voice, so I got scared being on camera. I hated videoing myself. I was petrified to do like live videos, to jump on and do a live to my community. I was literally trembling. I would stop, start, judge on myself, criticize everything, that I started to go, instead of pre-recording, I'm just going to do a live, right? I'm just going to hit the live button and whatever comes out the way it's meant to be. That got me out of my comfort zone big time. And I started thinking about all of the things that I was limiting in myself, the limiting beliefs that I had, the fears that I had, the blocks that I had. And I was remembering how I felt about, I had this dream to open a studio. I had this dream to transition out of my home business and into a bigger studio and I didn't think it was going to be yoga and Pilates. I was doing PT back then, but I would journal all these things that I wanted to do. I wanted to have a community where women felt safe to come and move their body, because I had clients that come to me and said, I don't like gym vibes. I hate the gym. I'm scared of judgment. I'm scared of not fitting in. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate being in crowds of people. I just want to come to you because I feel safe. And that's what my husband would say to me when I would complain to him with all of my fears and limiting beliefs and judging on myself. He would say, babe, like, women love you because you're real. Women love you because they can relate to you. They can see themselves in you. Like, you're walking the talk, you're doing the things that you're teaching them, and they feel like you're just a real human being who cares about them and who just is so passionate about what she does. And people feel that. And that really stuck with me. And I thought about my community, and I thought about what I was doing with my PT business, and I would journal on all of these things that I wanted. I would vision like this studio that I wanted to have, where people could come and move their body and they felt safe. There was no judgment vibes. There was no kind of competitive, competing vibes. There was somewhere where everybody just felt so comfortable. They welcomed one another. It was an extension of what I already had, because with my PT business, I had group fitness classes that I would run as well at a local park. Plus I had the one-on-one sessions or small group sessions from home. And we had amazing vibes. Like, we just had the most beautiful women. And I thought, I want a bigger extension of that, because I don't want to work from home anymore. I want to keep my home sacred, and I want to go into a studio. So I thought it would be some kind of fitness studio, but it didn't matter what it looked like. I journaled around what I saw, the vision that I felt, the vibes from the community that I felt, the people that walked through the doors, how I made them feel, how I helped them, because I love the inner work. And I've been studying a lot of soul work, mindset work, doing it myself, all the things that I share with you. I've been doing it myself for such a long time. And I'm like, that's where it's at. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. And I love doing the inner work with people. And I just felt like with PT, as great as it is, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, right? And so I remember thinking, I would love to do, I'd been practicing yoga, like I've told you a million times on the podcast, since my early 20s. And I thought, I want to do my my yoga training, as well as my PT. But I kept thinking to myself, I'm too old, like all those limiting beliefs come up, like I've got to try and fit this in around what I'm doing with my business, around what I'm doing with my family, with Tom, with how busy he is. I didn't know how it was all going to come together, but I just had this like gentle, almost like this little voice in the back of my head saying, you need to do your yoga teacher training. And I remember going on a retreat to Bali where I take you guys as a guest. And I remember journaling everything that I wanted to do, what I wanted to become, what I wanted to have. And I just kind of formed this picture of what it looked like to me in my heart, and how it made me feel, and how it made the community of people that would come through my doors feel. So I started thinking the other day about the girl that was petrified, that was worried she was too old, that hated her voice, that judged on her body, that didn't feel she was good enough, that she would compare herself to other people. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I have come so far since that day. And I started just writing. Let me read a little bit of this out to you. I started writing all the things that I have achieved. And I wrote down, like I started it with, and this is what I want you guys to start with, I'm celebrating the woman I've grown into. And I wrote about like my life's achievements to date, what I've done over the last 5 years, opening the studio, and Hang on. Let me get back down here. I don't want to read everything because this is like pages and pages and pages. And I wrote down around, let me just tell you, I think it might be easier if I just tell you because I'm going to jump from piece to piece and it's not going to make 100% sense. But I remember when I went on my first retreat, and I looked at Trish, the lady that was running the retreat. And I looked at, she owned the villa and she was in her late 50s and she looked amazing. And I thought to myself in that moment back then, I thought, wow, like she can do this. She looks freaking incredible. She's in her 50s. And that instilled in me the belief that I'm not too old, right? That instilled in me the belief that I can actually do what I need to do what I want to do, because my life is only just beginning, right? We have this block that we're too old or we're too young, and all these limiting beliefs kind of filter into our subconscious mind, that I started looking at, what have I actually done? Like I've created this community. I'm actually now running my own retreats. I started looking back to when I sat in that room looking at Trish, and now I thought, I'm running my own retreats. I've been doing them for over 8 years. I took personal training clients. So I started my retreats in Bali before I had the studio. Then COVID hit. Then I picked them back up again. And I thought, I'm running international retreats. I'm podcasting. I'm running women's circles. I'm inspiring. I'm coaching. I'm mentoring women. I am writing from the heart. I've achieved like so much growth in me personally that I didn't recognize myself compared to the woman that I was 5 years ago. I thought about the belief in myself. I thought about how much more I loved my body. I thought about the journey of getting my breast implants out and how it taught me to get out of the ego realm and into the soul realm, and how terrified I was at the time, and the growth that I've had coming out of that, how much more I love on my body now. I accept my body. I thought about how much I've got more connected on that soul level. I am more sure of who I am, of what I want, of what my purpose is, what my passion is. I look back at all of the amazing experiences that I'd had with my family and thought, wow, like I've got out of my comfort zone so much, traveling to some incredible places, adventures, doing things with the kids, that I didn't even recognize that old version of me from 5 years ago, like I just didn't even recognize her. And as I was writing all of this out, I started to cry. Like I actually felt so proud of myself. I started to feel like, wow, I've actually come so far, because we get so hung up on where we're not yet the things we haven't achieved yet, the money we haven't made yet, the job we haven't got yet, the relationship we haven't attracted yet, like the things that we haven't done, the body that we feel like we haven't achieved yet, or we're not loving on ourselves, or we're unsure of who we are, that if you were to just take a minute and actually look back at how far you've come, girls, you would be blown away. And in that instant, I wrote everything down. I felt this overwhelming feeling of pride. I felt this overwhelming feeling of accomplishment, of, oh my gosh, I have got out of my comfort zone so much that I didn't even recognize myself. I have achieved so much more than I ever thought possible. So if I have done that over the last 5 years, imagine what my next 5 years are going to be like. Like the growth that I've had, the journey that I've had. It's not about achieving the things. It's about the growth that I have achieved in the process, because I've had to get myself out of my comfort zone to try new things, to embark on new courses. It was hard opening a studio when you didn't know what to do. It was hard doing things that I've never actually done before, but I made it work. And my belief in myself in that process of over the last 5 years, the belief in myself started to really shift, and I had more courage in the woman that I am. I had more faith in the woman that I am. I had more trust in the universal support and guidance, because I saw, when I look back over the last 5 years, I looked at little, crossroads, or I looked at little decisions I made, or I looked at the little nudges that I had the courage to follow them, because it was not an easy thing to do. I remember getting that little nudge going, you should do a yoga teacher training. Then all the limiting beliefs come in, like I'm too old, I've got to juggle it around my work and kids, I've got, it's an extra $5,000, it's all the way down the Gold Coast, all those things that filtered into my subconscious mind. I still had the courage to do it anyway. And then I look back and I go, how that one little breadcrumb decision led to where I am now. I look back at having the courage to trust in my community. So when people have said to me, you should start a podcast, you should bring Bar into the studio, will you coach me? Will you mentor me? And all the little things, because I'm a responding generator in my human design, that means I respond to what goes on around me. I just know that that's how I operate. And I make my best decisions by responding and listening to my gut. And I look back and I go, thank goodness I had the courage to act on those little nudges that come from the community. Because what happens when you do the thing? When I first started doing my podcast, I was terrified. Again, I was like judging my voice, all of the things. I went, no, you're doing this for a reason. You're helping a lot more of your community. This is bigger than you. This is more impactful. Have the courage in yourself and back yourself, and just get out of your comfort zone and freaking do it. That's the kind of pep talk that I would give myself. And I did it. And now I get all of this feedback from the community telling me how much they love it and how much I've helped them, or just all the stuff that I hear. I go, thank goodness I had the courage to do it, because I was petrified. I'm not going to sit here and go, it was easy, I just made it happen. I had to overcome some huge fears and doubts and blocks in myself, in my worth, in my ability. That the other day when I was sitting down writing everything down in my journal, I thought, oh my goodness, I've come so far. And I literally cried as it was hard, but it was rewarding, because you know what then happened? All of a sudden, my belief shifted, my attitude shifted, my energy shifted. I went from sitting in this funk to going, holy hell, I have done some amazing things. What I've done now, I didn't think I would ever do 5 years ago, but I've done it. So I know the next 5 years are going to be possible. I know that all I have to do is one step at a time, just like I did in the past, because I followed those little breadcrumbs, I followed those inner nudges, I followed those inner voices, I followed that internal guidance. And in that process, I become so connected with myself. All of the times I was journaling, all the times I was in meditation, there was a lot of work. And at the time, it felt like an effort. You might be sitting here going, I don't know what to journal about. I was in the same boat. You might be sitting there going, I don't have time for meditation. I was in the same boat. But do you know what it was? I didn't prioritize it initially at first because I didn't value it enough. We prioritize things, time for things that we value. And then over time, as I saw these practices just filter into my life a little bit more and a little bit more, I started to get so much more connected with myself that I learned to trust in myself. And that is the biggest achievement over the last 5 years, is that I've learned to trust in myself, trust in my guidance, trust in my intuition, trust in that inner voice, that my confidence has skyrocketed. So even though I sit here right now, I have bigger dreams, I have bigger goals, I have things that I haven't achieved yet, things I'm working on right now. I need to just hold the faith and trust in myself, and I know that I can achieve it because of what I've done so far. So that is the power, girls, in celebrating you. So what I want you to do, I want you to get out your journal. If you're listening when you're driving or doing some chores, I want you to find a time in the next 24 hours where you can actually sit down and dive into it. I don't want you to just make a list, right? I want you to pour your heart and soul into your journal. I want you to spend 20 or 30 minutes. So maybe after the kids go to bed, maybe after everyone's, off to school and you got a little bit of peace and quiet at home, maybe after, like the house is quiet, leave your husband doing what he's doing, go and have a shower, set up your zone, light some incense, put some beautiful candles, get nice and cozy. And I want you to pull out your journal and pour your heart and soul into it. I want you to start with the line, I'm celebrating the woman I've grown into, or whatever line like that resonates for you. And I want you to just sit down, maybe close your eyes, and I want you to feel into that version of you 5 years ago. How is she feeling? What limiting beliefs did she have? What blocks did she have? What fears, doubts, uncertainty did she have? And I want you to just take your journey back. You don't need to write down that, but I want you to just take a journey back to 5 years ago. Then I want you to feel what comes up for you that you have achieved. What comes up for you that you can celebrate? Because what often happens is we get stuck we look at how far we've got to go instead of how far we have come. And I want you to sit in the how far you've come. I want you to journal all the things. They might seem seemingly little insignificant things, like I hated my voice, now I get on video. Whatever it is for you, it might be that you've had the courage to step into your first class. It might be that you've started taking care of yourself compared to 5 years ago. It might be that you're celebrating a job that you have achieved, a career advancement, a pay rise, a promotion, a business idea that you've started. It might be celebrating the relationship. If you look back, some of you might have gone from being the young maiden who was on her own journey and now she's married or gone into motherhood. Some of you may have raised kids from the younger years into the older years. Some of you may have got your kids, that are grown into young adults now, and you've kind of transitioned into that journey outside of being such a hands-on mum. Celebrate what you've done. I wrote things like that. I wrote down about the family experiences that we've had. I wrote down about the kids that I've brought up, and I'm proud of my kids that I've brought up. I'm proud of the time I've invested into my relationship. So it might be like your marriage. It could be your relationship. It could be that you've culled some people out of your life that were toxic and now you're standing in your own worth and in your own power. It could be that you've changed environments in your friendship circles that have not served you anymore, and you used to stay there because of FOMO or for fear of not having anybody or for fear of this is just what I'm settling with, knowing that they don't serve you, and you've outgrown and you've changed circles and you have now attracted into your life the people that are meant to be there. It could be financial. It could be, money that you've attracted or income that has grown in your business or your career. It could be study that you've achieved. It could be that, you've done some amazing travel experience and adventures that you never thought that you would have done. It could be that you're having the courage to be yourself a little bit more, that you're having the courage to do some things, write down some things that you've done to get out of your comfort zone. It could be, like as simple as just knowing your worth a little bit more now, taking a little bit better care of your body. It could be anything that comes up for you. I'm just the messenger. I'm just asking the question, but you are the one that has got to write down the answers. Powerful questions give you powerful answers. So what are you celebrating that you've achieved in the last 5 years? I don't care how big or little, how big or small you think it is, because there is no big or small. It's celebrating you. It's celebrating the woman that you've grown into. It's celebrating your achievements. It's celebrating your worth. Anything and everything that comes up for you, I want you to write it down. I want you to feel, how do you feel now compared to how you felt 5 years ago? I want you to feel the emotions that come up. I want you to, there's no good or bad emotion. Just write them down. You may have overcome some really challenging times. You may have had some trauma. You may have had some hardships, and you might be sitting at a pivotal point in your life now where you want the next 5 years to be different from the last 5 years, and that's okay. Celebrate your growth. Celebrate the strength that you've had. Celebrate the wisdom that's come through for you. Celebrate the transition in your life. Celebrate the soul journey that you've been on. Anything, girls, write it down. Pour your heart and soul into it. Then I want you to sit with it. I want you to feel the emotions of pride. I want you to read back over it. I actually read back over it. And as I was reading it back, because I find when I journal, I ask a question, I journal, just let your pen go. Let your heart and soul pour into your journal. Don't stop and question, go, oh, I can't write that. That's not good enough. Or that's, insignificant. It is. If it comes up for you, that's your soul telling you it's significant, write it down and let yourself feel the celebration. Let yourself feel the power that you've stepped into. Let yourself feel the pride. Let yourself feel the accomplishment. Let yourself feel the achievement. Like I even wrote down in my journal, I wrote, I did it. I created earthy angels, still unsure of so many things, but I did it. I overcome my fear of being too old. I overcome my fear of study. I overcome, and I wrote down all of these fears that I overcome. And then I sat there. I felt my whole energy shift. And this is why I want you to write down this exercise. I want you to feel the power. I want you to feel the energy of celebration. I want you to feel the achievements that you've done. Feel it in your heart and soul and feel so freaking proud of what you have done, because it's so easy, girls, to sit in the where I'm not yet. What haven't I achieved yet? Then I want you to end it with gratitude. I want you to write down all of the things that just burst through you that you're grateful for. Like I wrote down things like, I love my life. I'm married to my soulmate. I have 2 angels that I adore more than anything in the world. I have a loving family and people around me who accept and love me for myself. I have my health. I have our dream waterfront home with a sunrise view, which is better than I ever could have imagined. I have and then I went on to list all of these things. My work feeds my soul. Then I wrote down, it's time for me to level up again and step into my power again. Use this as a transition exercise. Use this as a way to pause, to realign, to reflect on how far you've come, on the woman that you have grown into over those last 5 years. And then sit with, this might come up on another day, it might come up now, whatever comes up for you, don't question it, just pour it into your journal. You might feel like you want to pour into your journal the things that you want to achieve. You might now, from this new shifted energy, from this new perspective, you might start writing down, like, yes, I have the confidence to go for that new job. I'm strong and empowered. I'm authentically me. I am going to attract that dream relationship. I attract it now. I bring it into my awareness now. I am going to change my home environment. I am going to bring in the home that I know my heart and soul wants. Whatever comes up for you, use that power, use that energy of feeling so fulfilled and proud and grateful in yourself, and write down the things that you want to achieve if you wish. That part's optional. If it comes up for you, write down all of those feelings while you're sitting in that energy of feeling so powerful. use that energy, because your energy is powerful. Use that energy to write down your desires. Use that to write down your next dreams, because sometimes we can sit in this feeling of, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not confident enough. I'm not, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. All these limiting beliefs come in when you're sitting in that energy of the power of what you have achieved, what you have actually done. Use that to go, you know what? I am capable of this next version of myself. I am capable of achieving my heart and soul's desires. I am worthy. I have done it before. I've got out of my comfort zone. I can do it again. And use that energy to write down all of the things that are coming up for you, that this next level version of you has become, can achieve. Write it all down. Pour it into your journal, or just sit there and reflect. Even if you don't want to journal anymore, just sit there, close down your eyes, and just sit there and dream about the things that you want to do, and utilize this power to go, you know what? I can actually do this. Because you can, like you get so stuck in what you haven't done. You kind of look at the path ahead, and we never stop and look at the path behind and go, I've done so much for myself and I've achieved so much. And there is power in the past. You don't want to stay stuck in the past. You don't want to stay in there. But there's power in looking back and using it as almost like a little tool, and maybe even a little bit of a motivation. Because what I did a few days later, I looked back 10 years ago, right? I thought about this to myself, and I thought, how old were my kids 10 years ago? How old was I 10 years ago? What was I doing 10 years ago? And I thought about, there were times in my life that I was definitely fitter, like muscularly fitter. I was a lot more motivated in certain areas of my life, like in my fitness, and I was in that bit of a go-go kind of a getter energy. I was traveling a lot more. We were doing a lot more travel with the kids. That it actually gave me a little bit of motivation, and I went, hang on a sec, like I forgot about how good traveling felt, and I started to write down again and redoing some of my dreams list about the places that we want to travel to. And it gave me that motivation, and it gave me that energy to go, I've been a little bit complacent, lazy lately. I was going to say lately, but probably a bit lazy too. I have been a little bit complacent in this new home stage that we're at the moment, that I need that fire back in my belly again. I need to take some more aligned masculine energy, still in alignment with that feminine flow. But for me to go to this next level version of me, I need to take some more aligned actions. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to allow things to happen a little bit more. I need to get back into that little bit more of a goal setting mentality that I was 10 years ago. And looking back at the places that we visited and the experiences that we had with our kids, it gave me that drive again to go, you know what? There are more places we want to take our kids to, there are more experiences that we want to have with Tom and I ourselves in our relationship. There's more places I want to go to myself. I want to go on my own retreats instead of just running retreats. And some of the ones I want to go on are very, very expensive. And so it gave me that motivation. Hang on. If I look back at the last 10 years and I look at the things that we've done, I want to bring more of that into my life. I need to level up again. I need to bring in more money. I need to step into my power. I need to get that motivation back. And it gave me that little bit of a motivation to kind of go again, like a reset, refocus, let's go again. So there is power in looking back at your achievements. There is power in looking back at those memories, those experiences, because they can reignite that fire in your belly again. And if you just take a moment to sit down and pause, this is where it's at, girls. You have to take this moment to pause. I don't tell you all these things that I've done for shits and giggles, right? I don't tell you. You can listen to the podcast. You can get to the end, hit stop, and then do nothing with it. Or you can make the choice to go, I'm actually going to take on board what Lee said. I'm actually going to go and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to list down what I'm celebrating. I'm going to write it out and I'm going to see how I feel. Because I tell you these things because they work. I tell you these things because they empower you. I tell you these things because these rituals will help you in your day-to-day life. They will help you become happier. They will help you be more filled. They will help you see where you're stuck. They will help you see where you need to grow. They will help you align with your dreams and your goals. They will help get you out of funks. They will help you achieve what you want to achieve. It's only your life that we're talking about, girls. So everything I share with you are rituals that I do myself, are practices that I do myself, are habits that I do myself. And I know the worth in them. I know how much they help me, and I know how much they help the women that I coach, and I know they help you. But you have to take the aligned action. You can listen to what I share, but you're the one that has to carve out the time to go and sit down and write. You're the one that has to pull out a journal and actually do this little exercise. But it's a big exercise. I'm just the messenger. I just share with you what comes up for me, and I know it will help you, but you are the one that has to take action, girls. So if you're feeling anything of what I've shared today, if you're feeling a bit unsure of how to proceed forward, if you're sitting in a bit of a funk of not feeling like you've achieved what you want yet, it could be as simple as you're just sitting in a funk with how you're feeling in your body in the middle of winter. As I'm recording this, I know you feel it. And you might just need that little winter reset, that little mid-year reset to kind of get over that little hump and go again. Because you look at what you haven't done for your body, or you look at what you have been slack at doing. You look at what you're not there yet, the goals you haven't achieved yet, how you're not feeling in your body yet. Sit in the energy of celebrating what you've done. Sit in the energy of gratitude for your body the way it is, your health and wellness the way it is, and allow that to reset, to propel you forward, because you have come further than you think, angels. You have done a lot more than what you actually even realize. But if you sit in that headspace of what you haven't done yet, or where you're not where you want to be yet, you will stay there and you will feel so bad in yourself. You will feel doubtful. You will feel down, depressed, in the dumps, in a funk, hating on yourself, judging on yourself, criticizing yourself, being so hard on yourself. What is the good in that? Like, who wants to stay there? I don't, you don't, but you have to get yourself out of the funk. You have to be the one to turn up to class. You have to be the one to write in your journal. You have to be the one to start taking an aligned action. So sit down, pull out your journal, ask your heart and soul, celebrate what you have achieved, and the answers will come for you for what you do, what you need to do next. I promise you, you're doing an amazing job. Life's not meant to be perfect. We have ups and downs. We have times we feel good. We have times we're in a little bit of a funk, or times when things are working and flowing and in alignment, and times where roadblocks set in, or we kind of get stuck in this negative headspace. That's normal, my friends. It's absolutely normal. It's up to you whether you stay there or whether you get yourself out of it. So use this exercise to celebrate you, celebrate your achievements, celebrate the amazing woman that you are. And if you feel you don't know what to write down, just start by writing down the amazing, beautiful woman that you are, what you're grateful for about you, and it will just get the ball rolling and it will start to flow, because you have so much to celebrate. You are so worthy. You are so beautiful. You are so powerful. You have everything you need within. I see it. You just need to see it, my friend. So please do this exercise, and I would love to hear from you how you go. Share your wins, celebrate your wins, because every win is an amazing effort and you should be so proud of yourself. See you in the next episode, my friends. Bye. So much love to you all.